So one of the best ways for us to understand our emotions, but also to understand our kids' emotions, is this concept of the emotional thermometer. And you may have seen it around before. One of the best versions that I've seen and that I've used is from Fabic, F-A-B-I-C, developed by a lady called Tanya. You can buy her emotional thermometer for about $3 from her website, I think. I like it because it's got the colours and it's got the range, it's got the face expressions, and it's actually got the numbers in there. Another one I just downloaded from online. If you Google emotional thermometer, you'll find a whole bunch with the range of colours and the numbers. You can use that, or even better, I reckon, is when you draw your own and you get your kids to draw it and to colour it in as well. So an emotional thermometer talks about how we can have a 10 out of 10 reaction. Remember, with the hand, that was the flipping of the lid. And we can be on code 0, and you can have different colours, so green or blue for code 0, and then you can work your way up to a code 10. I often say to parents, when was the last time you were code 0? Might have been after a 3-week holiday on the beach, might have been before you had kids. For some of us, we've got so much stress going on in our lives that we're actually waking up at 8 out of 10. And so it's not surprising that we get to a 10 out of 10 before the morning's even kicked off. Same with some of our kids. For whatever reason, whatever's happening for them, they might be at an 8 out of 10 every morning when they wake up. If we go back to that image of the brain that we were talking about, we need to remember that any kids who are on the spectrum disorder, any kids with a developmental delay, any kids who've experienced trauma, that emotional part of their brain, that middle part of their brain, this bit here, takes a lot longer to develop. And so for that reason, they'll be more vulnerable to more meltdowns. So this is a really nice way of thinking about, even if it feels we've gone from 0 to 10 with nothing. It just feels like sometimes we've flipped the lid with nothing. There was actually a build-up. And often what happens is, for example, for us, a kid has just deliberately spilt milk on the floor and they're 4 years old. That might trigger a 4 out of 10 emotion, and I might consider it a 4 out of 10 event. But on a specific day, we might give a 10 out of 10 reaction. And so over here, just to explain what happens, is we get the feeling, you know, that's not fair, that's not okay, but what happens is we add a whole bunch of thoughts to it, and that triggers a reaction. So on one day, 4 out of 10 event might inspire a 2 out of 10 reaction even, whereas on another day, it'd be a 10 out of 10 reaction. So what happens is that something will happen and then we add a whole bunch of thoughts to it. So a kid spills milk deliberately and we think, oh, how could you? Oh, I'm having a bad day and I've just had an argument with my partner before that. I've got no patience, and you're slowly building up. Well, in reality, you're speeding up very fast to a 10 out of 10 event. And so it's our thoughts that can add fuel to whatever the emotion was and make it 10 out of 10. Or our thoughts can actually add water to it and hold it there at a 4 out of 10. It's not too bad. Let's not cry over spilt milk. It's going to be okay. I can choose a different way to react to this. So Pema Chodron is the one that introduced me to this concept of adding fuel to the fire and kicking it off to a 10 out of 10. It can happen like that, but in that space, we've added 10, 30, 50 different thoughts to escalate the situation. Or we can add water to the fire and actually choose to hold it here at a 4 out of 10. Sometimes we don't feel like we've got a choice, but we do actually have a choice as to what we do and how we're going to react. And that's what we're going to talk about next. This is so key. This is what we need to teach our kids. We need to teach our kids that there is actually a choice here of this cycle. Are we going to interrupt the cycle? Are we going to hit the pause button, or are we going to keep it spiraling and escalating? This thermometer can represent our fight response, so our anger, response, and it can represent our flight and our freeze response, so our anxiety and our fear. So what I want you to do now is, in your journal, draw the thermometer or download and print one if you would like to, and do one for your flight freeze response, for your anxiety and fear response. And on one side of the thermometer, do how you feel it in your body. What does 2 out of 10 fear and anxiety feel in your body? What does 6 out of 10 anxiety and fear in your body feel like? What's 10 out of 10 anxiety and fear in your body feel like? And then I actually want you to, so that's what it feels like in your body. It's so important that we start identifying this. So we start to bring awareness to, whoa, I'm 6 out of 10 anxiety and fear at the moment. You know, that's when you can start thinking, what will I do? Often we're not even aware of it. We feel like we've gone from 0 to 10 out of 10, when in actual fact we build up. And on this side of the thermometer in your journal, I want you to actually say the name for it. What does 2 out of 10 anxiety and fear mean to you? Is that nervousness? What are some words for these different emotions? What's 6 out of 10? Is that afraid? What's 10 out of 10? Is that panic? And then I want you to actually say, what are some actions? What do you do when you're 4 out of 10 and 6 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 that lets you know that you're actually 10 out of 10? So is this a full-blown panic attack? Is this butterflies in the stomach? Is this feeling nauseous and sick? Is this shaking? 8 out of 10. Like, what is it for you? Just so that awareness is 50% of the way there, so that you can be aware of this. And then I want you to do the same for your fight response, your anger response. What do you feel in your body? Is it jaw clenched, sweaty palms, feeling hot around your face? And what would you call it? Mildly irritated, frustrated, angry, mad, furious. And what do you start doing? How do you know this? So this might take a little while, but it's a really worthy reflection. And then I want you to do this for your kids. I want you to brainstorm for each kid. How do you know, as an observer, when they're working up this one for anger and when they're working up this one for anxiety and fear? How do you know that? How do you know that in their bodies? What signs are you given, and what are the actions? You are the best detective for your kids. So what actions do they start doing that let you know, oh, okay, a bit of anxiety and fear is kicking in, or a little bit of anger is kicking in? Really taking the time to do this. And if you're feeling brave now, or if you want to wait till the end of the course, this is a good one to come back to and do it with your kids. Actually do it with them. And I'll do it too. All right. Thanks. See ya.